Hello, my friends, and welcome back to another beautifully polygonal day here on my procedurally generated community Minecraft server. I'm over here at my ship. Thank you very much for coming to check it out again. I'm still in the throes of deciding what colors I'm going to use here. I'm almost certain it's going to be either birch or this dark oak, probably the dark oak, and I might put birch over there, so that's another part of things. As I said before, we're still kind of debating on where this ceiling is going to end up going, i.e. the deck for the next, not this deck, but the deck above, and two decks above this one, as it were. And this was what we were doing for scaling and multi-angle looking at and all of that. And this is what I've decided, based on what we've got below, is where we're going to start things out. So let me give you a quick peek down below. Right? Oh, I say quick, but come on down. So I don't know what. Down here is going to be a little unusual. Here down the very middle, we're going to have this dirt row here, and then 1, 2, 3, right? 4, 5 here, or maybe here. Actually, here would be cool. But here either will be another strip that goes down. All right, and then these hoppers will be here as they are. So the reason I want with this being the location is so we have all the wood will accumulate here, and then we can go throw it into these smelter, super smelter, real fast if we need to, right? Or we can just leave it in there, and then up here we could have on the sides sections for putting them in, and maybe have them sorted with a 41 item sorter. I'll show you what I'm talking about later if we get to that. And like have different types of woods on either side, right? And then this section here can just be like a long standing bit of iron. But to be honest with you, I kind of like the space I have here. So rather than bring a whole wall down, just leaving that there, maybe putting 3 more chests maybe would be all I'd need. It would probably be all anybody would need if this thing were left alone in the spawn chunk. I do not have this set as the spawn chunk, but that is a thought I am having, is maybe converting the spawn chunk into like centralized over myself, over this build I should say, so that when I put it into the server, and I've looked into a couple things, I've looked into Cubase, and they have a lot of things, and one of them was Spigot, whereas this was being played upon before. Some of the rules I didn't like. I think I'm just going to bring it straight vanilla rules, and maybe turn off Enderman griefing, or set up command blocks for that, and set up command blocks for multi-user sleeping, ability to sleep, that kind of thing. But other than that, I can't really think of any other reasons I would like to modify it, because I'd like to keep it like this. But up here, bam, as I was saying down below, this would be a tree row, and then over about 5 or 6 would be a tree row. But what you need to focus in on is that from this hopper line, 8, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, there will be dispensers that will dispense water, which will flow in, pushing any saplings or leaves that fall or pieces of wood that get stuck up in the leaves as they happen as you're going back and forth cultivating your lumber. Right, so say you're chopping here, and maybe you had a silk touch axe, and you're like, ching, and down went some leaves, or maybe some of these bits of wood got popped off to the side, that kind of thing, right? This is all going to have to come out anyways. But those types of things, once this is down, will start to despawn. Anything that's left behind will start to despawn if you want to get saplings, right? And sometimes saplings will drop, and sometimes they won't. Most times they won't. But when they do, they'll land all around the floor that's going to be down here at this level. So I need to fill in all of this with these regular slabs, so there'll be a path of the water to be able to flow down. Also, I want to put some lighting strips in here so that it's lit up while things are growing. While the water's flowing, it won't matter, but while the water's flowing, it would flow over saplings that'll be planted about here, as we said before. So that would, I believe, break them from the ground, from the soil. So what we'll do instead is have a lighting pattern down here. And if we look below, we can kind of see that that lighting pattern is going to have to go over the wool farm in some fashion. So let's see here. I can't center it because they're too wide. But if I do it on the 3rd, that'll pop there, and then on the 6th, And then on the... maybe not the 3rd and the 9th. Maybe the 3rd, the 9th, and the 15th. I'll think about it. We'll see what's going on. But first things first, let me go ahead and get this built out to the next stage so you'll have a better look at it. Right? So what I'm going to do is fill in the floor and build this out to the distance I want it to be, and maybe clean up this a little bit. So I'll be right back, and we'll show you that. Okay, we are back, and I have made a few adjustments. I've brought it in a little bit so that there be some more space for walking around outside here, and so that the gated area that I was going to have up towards the front would actually see into it rather than having water flow from underneath it somewhere I can't really see, even though that has a lot of aesthetic appeal as well. But this is what I decided to go for reasons. Here, I'll come show you real fast. This is what I've gone with. I was thinking about coming out this big, or this far, I should say, so that the water would flow 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then into the hopper. That would give us a lot of coverage, so we could have our trees planted wherever we wanted them to, really. But since we're only going to have one extra column, or row, depending on your perspective, of trees, then I thought it might be better to have the water come out here, eject from what will be a dispenser, and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 onto the actual path here, so that when I'm done chopping down those trees, as I said, I can just kind of depart the fix, and it will be all good to go. If I forget to turn the water off, then that's fine, because it'll all flow into the middle, right? And these sections are where glowstones are going to go. So let me actually go ahead and see if this is one I wanted to do. Oh no. Pop down there. So this is the pattern. Bam. And these two over here, etc., etc. Right, so I'm thinking that that should be enough lighting for the whole of the place once it gets in there. And I also think the pattern that we're going to have down below is going to look okay. I also... wow, I brought this dark oak spruce fence because I was planning on putting it here, which I still can. Later on, that'll be the way in and out, because I'm going to use dark oak to lower, yes, kind of give ourselves the trim here that we want around the edge. Right into that. These will all be dispensers, except for this one. And we'll pick it back up just like this. That's going to be a glowstone. I'll come to that later. Right, all the way to the edge again. These are all going to be the dispensers. And then on this side. Oh, bummer. Okay, so that'll make it, that'll give it just a little bit more, contrast. That'll work. And in fact, I might bring this out one and then run the trim behind. Let's see how that would look. I did that. It might work. It might work, depending on how I end up making the dispensers. Alright, so let me get all the dispensers in place and all the lighting in place, and we'll see about how that's going to work out. Okay, and we are back underneath the tree farm now, checking it out and seeing what it looks like. I think it looks alright. It does provide some lighting down below, so we'll be able to get rid of some of these torches. You know, and back here in the cactus farm, I don't think we really need lighting, but out here, it doesn't go all the way down to the edge of the wool farm, but it still goes pretty darn far, so maybe we'll end up with a light right there. Oh, by the way, let me get rid of these out of the hotbar. I don't want to break any. I had to go into the nether. Yep, I ran out of glowstone, and I went in the nether, and it occurred to me I need to prep our nether here, our soon-to-be our nether, by going up to the ceiling and building kind of another hub. In fact, that's exactly what I need to do, because it at least build out enough so that there's like a central area for people to get back and forth between spawn and wherever they'd like to go. So have it there so that they can go out where they need to go and then go up and then dig across, and it'll be there, you know. But that's something I have to do in the 400 biomes world also, so that might be a 400 biomes episode that I do without the shaders on, because as you might recall, it is quite buggy with the shaders on. Alright, so what I've got here is the tree farm finished. There's some things I need to do. I need to give it some power so that it'll run along here. These are 18 long, so I'm going to need at least one repeater in there at some point. Or maybe, oh yeah, I'd have to, because of the way it would overlap. Okay, so maybe I put a button here and a repeater at some point, so they all go down that way, and a button over there will do the same thing. I think it's starting to come together, Just need to get some redstone dust and fill these guys with water, and then plant some trees. Oh, and up here, I've taken the liberty of, this is the height it needs to be at to grow. So underneath here, we're talking about a 1 gap lower difference, 1 block lower, because even though that is a half slab to on the upper side, this it counts as a lower side slab, I'm pretty sure. But I'm pretty sure it'll grow back here. If they don't, you know, no big deal. They'll grow out here, so we'll have leaves and trees out here, and we'll still have the open, airy look. Wow, I didn't get around to that yet, out here in the front. So let me go ahead and make a whole bunch of buckets, and fill a whole bunch of buckets with water. And, you know what, maybe wait for last for that. Let me make sure the redstone's in place and everything's good to go. Oh, I don't have a repeater here. Alright, well, I will put this down and go get a repeater, check it out, fill up some buckets of water, and maybe come back and show you the first test, or maybe even the first tree chopping down. Be back in a second. Welcome back, my friends. We are just now wrapping up the depositing of all of the buckets of water, so now we are good to go here. That's it. I just need to put in the trees, and Bob's your uncle, Fanny's your aunt, as you can see. The water system there, the water system there. It will pool in the middle, so even if I leave and nothing's going on, it'll be just fine. And I'm trying to get over here to the end so that I can maybe give it a spin around and see how it looks from back there. You know, I think it looks alright. Let me get out of the water here real fast. Over here, jump up on this guy. Yeah, I think that looks pretty nice for what it is, you know, and it's actually probably the better size. I'm glad that I went with that size instead of the big wide one, which would have given it this grandiose, like, tree place, but no. Let me go get some trees, plant them up, and see it in action. See how it looks in full bloom, as it were. Hey, all right, success. We have trees growing even underneath the platform, just as we had hoped, or I had hoped. Is it going to interfere with our redstone? Possibly. So maybe that's why I thought I'd have it 2 out and filter it in. But then I'd always have to have trees planted. But then again, I always would have trees planted, wouldn't I? That's the kind of guy I am. I don't know. I think I like the smaller footprint still. Because I do think, though, the idea of leaving it on as a water feature, just like this little pool that's sitting there, and if somebody were to come along and not know what it was, they could kind of maybe figure it out, you know? And I like having the extra space along the side, because that'll give us some space to deal with any decoratives that we're going to put in around here, you know? So that'll be pretty cool. Let me get up on top and see what it looks like up there. Oh. Golly, you would think after all these months of swashbuckling I would have had this thing down by now. Alright, and also, as if you didn't know what that conjunction meant, these bits of wood are, well, that beam and that beam and that beam run across the square center of the tree, so that's the limiting factor. So these are kind of frames that I've put out here to kind of get a feel for where I'm going to put the next deck up here. Again, I could drop it down 1 and have it as a, well, who knows, and then have it pop up like this. No, I don't like that. I like this. I like this better. So I'm going to have some decking here, and I'll have some stairs that go up here, and then this mostly will be deck. So this worked out pretty well. And then this would be a wall. Probably. I think I kind of outlined this before. So a wall, and there would be doors from this point going that way, so you could see things, or get in there and see things, or maybe just glass, you know? I don't know. We'll play with it a little bit. It might be... when I first started building it, it was just going to be a hollow shell ship, you know, with sails. But now, it's got a mind of its own, and it's becoming all types of things, right? So maybe it becomes conceptually a... I like the idea of having clear sides on the sides, you know? I've started putting in the spruce, but maybe I'll go back to the clear, you know? it looks nice to me. It has its things. You can see through and pretty, and then you could have and you'd have floating staircases that could go up to the next section. There are lots of things that I think about when I'm thinking about what I'm going to build. And even though it started out, like I said, as a basic port ship that I was going to build and has grown into what it is, well, it is what it is. All right, let me get these trees chopped down, and right when I finish chopping down those trees, well, actually, I'm going to let them all grow, and then I'm going to chop them down, and right when I finish that, I'll come back and show you the collection process at work, right? All right, I'll be right back. All right, and everything is now filled in. All the trees are in. All that's left to do, I say all, is to chop it all down. Oh, there's one little guy in there, but everybody else seems good to go. So let me do this. Let me pull everything out of here, right? So there's nothing in these chests at all. And then, am I going to be able to do that, though? I think we'll know that these aren't those. And then I will run through them with my Silk Touch axe and let the water run, and we'll see how much collects. And leave a comment below. Guess how much you think it's going to be. How many trunks I'll have, how many bits of log I'll have, how many leaves I'll have. And keep in mind, some are overlapping outside of the collection area. So what could it be? All right, let me get this done, chop it down, and we'll have the drum roll and check out the boxes. Okay, we're chopping through the final bits of these trees, making quick work of them every now and again, grabbing some leaves just to kind of have some more sample size stuff, you know. And wrapping it up, we're going to be jumping out in just a second. We're going to flip the switch. Actually, I'll run down the other two aisles just to see. Well, maybe I won't even need to do that. Okay. No, the way we've done it, I don't even have to do that. Okay. There we are. So as you can see, I've gone through and gotten everything harvested all of the lumber from this aisle and that aisle, and now this final aisle. There are some things popping off over the edge. Thank you very much. And, you know, that's going to happen. Now, I had some things I put in here from the beginning over here, and then I came back and actually brought all of the saplings and things here and put them in the bottom row, so we'll have those numbers. But now I'm going to turn this on so that things are just going to start flowing in towards the middle, and I'm going to turn this one on. And we're going to get some drops. They're just going to come right in. Some things there might be some loss from, but for the time being, we can just leave this on, right? And I can come through here now, knowing that and maybe, nope, that is going to be the last little bit that should land in that middle section. Close that off, let this run through, and we'll see how much is left. See if I can get a good angle on it. Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. The tree farm all complete. I think it looks like there's going to be a lot of loss, so I might go ahead and extend this out back to where I thought it should be before, so that the water streams terminate just before the hoppers. Then I'll just be certain to replant in the middle every single time. So we'll see. Well, I'm going to check the numbers later. That'll be the cliffhanger. So whatever you think, based on what you saw here, what type of sapling and apple do you think I'm going to get? How many apples do you think I'm going to get? That's the big one. How many apples? How many saplings? I need to get, like, at least a stack and a half, I think, to make sure I get this thing reharvested, or replanted, I meant to say. Goodbye, Iron Golem. Thanks for playing. And that's what we're going to be looking at. So I'll look at those numbers, and when we come back next time, you'll know whether or not I like the way this one scales. Because if it works fine, I'm going to leave it, and if it doesn't, I'm going to expand. It's just that simple. And if you'd like to see that, then by all means, please do consider subscribing to this channel for more content just like that. If you enjoyed yourself, give me a thumbs up. Until next time, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again real soon. Bye-bye.